Hey, how's it going? I should have taken a drink of this before I started. Whoopsie. So, seriously, how's it going? Uh, you know, know how I was talking about if you, oh, wait, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Please look at my signs. Is that going? Yes. Say opinion commentary, and I will very likely spoil something if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, because I'll probably start talking about some show or movie or something. Anyway, back to where I started to babble. So if you've watched before here, not too long ago, over like the past couple of, I don't know, months, I guess, I was saying that I knew something was coming. I didn't have any details. I just felt like there was a bubble headed this direction, and it turned out to be several somethings. So that was interesting. Speaking of in the United States, and it's still going on. There's political stuff happening at the Capitol. I don't really want to talk about. That's like too dense. But what I did want to talk about was, you are probably familiar with the Karen phenomenon if you watch YouTube. And you may have noticed in your own life that people are just kind of like jumping out of their lane into yours, and sort of inside the head thoughts are just coming out. They're just out there, and you're like, whoa, what? So thing about that last thing is, it's been my experience, and I think other people that look like myself, let's say other black people, people that are not, will come up and just say all manner of things that I think are bizarre to walk up to a stranger and say about your appearance or what you think, because you looked at them and like all this stuff happened in their head, and they start talking to you, and you're like, wow. I mean, but they just say it, and then it's like over, like it's gone, and their head is all sewed up or closed up or whatever it is, and it's like it never happened. And that's even stranger when it's someone you know. It probably happens to other groups of people too, or to individuals. But it's uncomfortable, kind of. Well, it's really uncomfortable for the recipient, who, like myself. And you kind of don't know what to say. Or you do, if, in the general terms, you do want to say something, and that could lead to things. That could lead to all manner of things. But that has not been my personal experience, thankfully. I did have one run-in personally with a woman. This was months ago in Walmart. And there was just a communications misunderstanding, but she really, really wanted to help me, and she really, really did not want to hear me telling her or saying to her, or accept it if she did hear it, that thank you, no, I don't need help. So there was like a tussle involved, and some weird things were said. Not by me. And then it was over, which was good. but it wasn't. It, I don't know. Like it was just a strange sort of interaction with a stranger, and so I'm here at my place a couple of days ago, and I'm coming in from outside, and there's a little girl in front of me. Just sort of, I mean, I saw little people in the area, but I was just sort of, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I was just paying attention to getting in my door, Well, I'll have to do something about that. Excuse me. So, yeah. And she's just like right there. Like I'm almost going to run this kid down. And she's talking to me, but I have headphones on with music playing. But I hear her say that I scare her. And I was just like, what? And then, like, I'm at my door kind of fiddling to get my key out, and she's still talking, and I don't know, she was asked me why I was riding a bike, but she didn't say, I don't know, just the way she said it just wasn't very friendly. But the I scared her thing, like, freaked me out, because what immediately went to my head was, like, I've never seen this kid before, to the best of my knowledge, and I don't interact with them very much at all, especially if I don't know who they are or who they belong to. I mean, I think just at any time ever, you leave other people's kids alone if you don't know them. It just seems like the wisest course to take, but she was just like right there, and I wanted to say, if you don't have anything that ain't weird to say, don't say anything to me, but, I didn't want to open that can of worms, so I just kept acting like I couldn't hear her, and she finally lost interest, but she was still going after the stuff that I kind of heard her say, and I didn't want to hear more, and here's why it is worth commenting on now is I also thought at the time, well, where'd she get that kind of talk from? Like, I didn't startle her, okay? So it wasn't like she was all, you scared me. That was not it. That was not the intonation. The intonation was, you scare me. And I was like, when? How? Like, I've never seen you before. So the next logical step to think of where would she have the idea to come up with that was at home. And I do know there's a lot of people here are friendly, some are not. Like some people have like tried to greet and they just look at you and don't answer or look at you angrily, and so that's like a weird dynamic, and that's the reason why I stopped speaking to people first. But I guess that's true of anywhere. This is like a small little, like everyone like is a real homebody here, so you see the same people all the time. And then there's others that are sort of more overtly hostile that I also don't have interactions with. Like that kind of thing happens here. More and more lately, and I've been here since 2004, so it's happened before in the past, but there's been more of them closer together in the last 5 years. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do obliquely, not my world of just being hostile to people, so because it could be so many things and I'm not asking for details, but I noticed that I don't know, it's just happening like more, or like I don't know, it's kind of close again, I guess, the crazy of the times or something. So, I have been thinking about like a few things, like I couldn't quite like get my mind on what am I supposed to be talking about here. But one thing that just sort of it kept happening enough times over and over, where it kept happening enough times over and over to where I was like, oh, this is the most cohesive thing I've been thinking of, so this probably is what I should be talking about. It kind of has to do with that, what I was just talking about, with the not in the head thoughts and the sort of, jumping out of your lane into the other person's, where you don't need to be there. There's no reason. You're not helping. You're not helping things. And it is. I have sort of been talking about this too recently, and then I was looking at a couple of things earlier, and I realized in a different way, oh, that's what they're talking about. Like eventually it got to, oh, that's the same thing I was saying. So it seems like, yeah, probably that should be the thing. And it is certainly, I was talking about it like in regard to myself, but take it or leave it in any way you want to, what I'm saying here, I guess. Or yes, that is what I'm saying. But, before acting, taking the slightest moment of thought, if you can, or just a pause to consider, should I go ahead and do this? Is this a right thing to do? But that's that's a very simplified way of talking about that, because like I have said in other videos, it has taken me a while to work up to being able to even stop at all before just barreling into whatever the emotion behind me was. So it's like learning any skill, you got to kind of practice it before you get skilled. And I'm not skilled, but I'm getting better. And here's something interesting about that. When you're having that moment or observing one in other people, you kind of, or I am kind of like, I don't know, in aspic, like just kind of, or amber, just kind of suspended momentarily in whatever the position I was in the space, or am, what, you know what I'm saying? Like I just kind of freeze up, maybe because the mental processes are taking up more of the energy, or so, I don't know, but you have a moment. And I guess I'm saying it's a quick moment that slows down long enough for you to observe, for me to observe like outside of myself in that moment and see what the other people are kind of doing. So that's been kind of an interesting thing. And it's not like there's time to know what all conversations are about and is what is being said, and or anything like that. It's just more of like a snapshot of a tableau. Blow. Okay, so I did pull some cards from these two decks, and I'm just going to show you those right now and get that out of the way, and I'll tell you which cards are from which deck. So the Angel Numbers deck and the, why can't I remember this? Because I always want to say it wrong. Messages of Cosmic Oracle deck. And I pulled these before I knew what I was going to talk about, so this should be interesting. The first one I pulled was 1515, the big break from the Angel Numbers deck. It's just no groovy photographs. Anyway, the subtitle is The Big Break. Innovation, oh, okay, I guess I'm reading the keywords. Innovation, focus, creation, progress, forward movement, skills. Was I just talking about skills? And goals. Okay, the paragraph reads, an opportunity, help, extra cash, or other support is coming your way. Well, that would be great for me, personally. So keep going and have fun when performing your tasks. The most tremendous success comes from passion. All efforts will be rewarded big time. Well, that's optimistic. There is a sort of forward momentum involved in current events that have happened that are kind of a big deal in the United States. Just, whole president switch up on one side, president on the other side, or ex-president, nominee, new vice president gonna take over and become president, or she's the nominee. It's wackadoodle for us. But you know what? It seems to be resolving without mishap too much. So, or I don't know of anything that I would consider mishap. I haven't heard anyone else saying there's one, except, well, on Fox, everything's a disaster. So, grain of salt. So, next card is 0404, and the subtitle is Slow Down. Pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to avoid any further issues. See, that is a benefit of being able to stop in like a passionate moment when you kind of are not thinking about things like, like your physical health or your surroundings, like listening to other people trying to talk to you. We can kind of like fly off the handle and things like that. Kind of like what happens in those times when, I was just talking about people just coming up and saying stuff and walking away. There's worse, like the Karens. They get physical. They do property damage. They appear to have emotional breakdowns. And I'm wondering I'm thinking in particular of this one Karen that, I don't know, it was like a lingerie shop or something, and there was a black woman, and she was with her friend, and they were shopping just by them, just talking to each other, because there was footage of the whole scene. So these two black women over here shopping and talking to each other, not doing nothing but standing, not doing anything, not talking to store staff, and store staff wasn't like, following them. It was small, everybody could see each other, but there was other customers. And then this woman came in, and I don't know if she was there or what, because she didn't distinguish herself until she started to freak out. But I guess she wanted the same item as the woman, one of the black women, and when the woman was trying to check out and buy her stuff and like leave or something, I wasn't, because they edited it, so I'm not real sure like what that part of it was, because it wasn't about that. It was about the Karen who did that weird thing where she said, "Oh, this woman did this thing," and like the whole store was like, "Nope, she did not do that," and the camera. So then the woman just decided to have like a toddler meltdown or something. She was like fake crying and flopping around and ended up on the floor in like it looked like a mall, so like a dirty floor with her bare legs, just like I don't know, like sort of not cross-legged but sitting on her legs. I don't know. And moaning, and she was calling for people to call the police and call the security. And the woman, the black lady who was mainly the focus of her attacks, was like, I don't understand what happened. I didn't do anything to this woman. Yeah, that's the whole deal there, not good. But the one on the floor, what had you taken a moment before starting to act all weird in public? What were you trying to accomplish there? What was your end goal? Either one. What was what did you think you were gonna get out of that? Very strange route to your road to take to your end, like and then like, oh, don't, you're filming me, don't film me. And then it seemed like, really, you really don't want people to film you being big. See, because if I didn't want people to film me, I'd like leave or I'd stop acting a fool, as they say. It's one of those benefits of taking a moment to think before you act. Okay, what did I read already? Don't freak out. It's just a warning. Don't freak out. Like that woman. It's just a warning to be careful and a way to avoid any further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. I mean, all of the communicating clearly and keeping healthy boundaries, those would have been awesome for the woman on the floor to have displayed, other than the character flaws. Like the other ones would have been character assets. Anyway, the next card is 999 and the subtitle is Release. I mean, had it been sincere, that would have been a huge release of whatever her wild hair was. Balance, finances, success, wealth, cycles. What goes around comes around. Your current circumstances are ending, so you might take advantage of better ones. If you're experiencing a significant change or conclusion, viewing your life as a series of cycles and chapters may be helpful. Compartmentalize that life. How can you make room for something new to emerge? I mean, I want to say, get through some kind of crap that you have not been able to get through, that's been impeding your progress in life or making you unhappy, or both. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. I mean, how do we release things? That's the subtitle they release. I mean, you work out a bunch of times and beat yourself up physically so that you can just, see to your hygiene and health. You get some food, and before you disintegrate, you got like whatever's going on in your life, job and whatever, and that could be a source that you would need to have, like maybe a sauna. We all process differently, is what I'm getting at. Balance. The nines. make me think of balance. Well, the repetitive thing about it, but yeah, that. The last one of those is 23 endless cycles. So, yeah. Until you get it, you go through endless cycles. As far as the it, you will have to fill in the blank because it's kind of true of doing stuff. It's true of doing. So the paragraph reads, there's some truth you're resistant to accept over and over again until you're tired and restrained beyond depression. Restrained? It takes a decision to live life for yourself. Life is all about passion. Then you make a change and the world around you follows. Well, the last sentence is like so true. And maybe that's part of the processing that I was talking about earlier. Like you have to, well, no, maybe about it. Like you don't change unless you finally decide to, and if okay, I'm just gonna speak for myself. I was gonna say I think we have all done the repetitive cycle thing, but I will just speak for myself. There are and have been in my life some things that I just had to do over and over a bunch of times. And I remember thinking in a couple of instances, because it would be different areas at different times in my life, but I can definitely think of some with no problem. You gotta just like do all of the wrong things first before you get it to like, I got it right, I can stop doing this, because it doesn't feel good. Like maybe just also the nature of it being repetitive is not good, and if it's a unhealthy thing, it's not good to repeat over and over either, I don't think. But you kind of have to do it, and it's up to you to have the will to start just changing, making that change, because it's like changing your mind, which it feels like you can just do that boop. Like, I don't know why I changed my mind today when I wouldn't do it for the past 10 years, but today's the day. And sometimes you don't question it because there's a lot of subconscious stuff that we're not aware of that's happening. Like, yeah, distantly, I know there's subconscious stuff going on, but everything else almost is on automatic. I think we all know that. So we're not like as aware as possible of these processes and things like working themselves out below the surface. And also, while that's going on, I'm thinking of it like a process where you're like fermenting grapes or something, and there's fumes that are escaping from the process, and they have a pungent, like you can't notice, you can't not notice that there's a smell happening kind of situation is what I'm thinking of. Not saying that it's like poop or sulfur, but just that it's maybe stringent and pungent, and you just are aware of it, like very much so. Can't miss it. Got into that so far. I don't. What was I talking about? The fumes though. Like, that was how it was. Just saw it that way for a second, but the fumes would be like the underneath processes that say you have compartmentalized for a long time and not dealt with, and then they're like coming and knocking on your door like a bill collector. Hey, you home? It's finally time to deal with us. And then stuff piles up is what I'm saying. If you don't deal with it, and then if you just are having your repetitive cycles and you're not, I don't know. I said at the beginning, sometimes you have to do everything wrong before you get it right. So, and that's also about like stopping and thinking, if I do this, what is going to be the result? Okay, I think I got that out. Okay, the keywords are interesting. I'm not sure how they apply it quite, but charisma, communication, did I read these? Society, movement, journey. I got movement twice. Journey, repetitive circumstances. Well, that's an endless cycle, isn't it? And patterns. Patterns, I mean, you get it wrong so many times, and like you do everything wrong, and then you finally realize, oh, this is the right way. That's the pattern I was looking for that I want to be doing. Did I really see movement on here? I got 2 movements. Forward movement, even. Yeah, this doesn't specify. It could be. Do I need to say it? Yes. Bowel movement. I'm not going to apologize for that. And so the other cards are, I just have to read them. I don't have to think about it. JK. Speak up and speak out. Let your voice be heard loud and clear. This is the Make a Splash card where you see the fiery little planet, looks like. It's like a fireball, jawbreaker. Shh, quiet you. This is definitely a coming in hot. Here I am, it's loud. So let your voice be heard loud and clear. You can certainly do that, but I also would stay on the advice of, before you go loud and clear, just take a moment and make sure that you're seeing loud and clear too. Perhaps a little foresight. The next card says, you have such a bright light inside, stop dimming it. I have had that told to me, not in this context exactly, but there's something in the channels I watch, the ETs say a lot, or actually they all say it, the Ascended Masters and all of the people that get channeled that are no longer here physically. And that is that we don't know how powerful we are. We are like programmed into these ideas of ourselves that, and it's always this, you forget who you are. You don't know, you don't know how powerful you are. It's like we have blinders on about our own selves, and I'm starting to get like a handle on that. And, like, I don't know if it's for everybody, but it's for me. Like, I'm not even trying to manifest stuff anymore, and it just happens. I'm not complaining, but you want to be careful. Again, you want to, like, this is hard, though. Take a moment before you think stuff. That is, still working on that, but I haven't wished a catastrophe into my life, so I must be doing all right. And just little things, like, there was something I needed from the store that I wasn't able to get, and it wasn't like I was like, oh my god, I gotta have this thing because it's totally frivolous. And then a couple of days later, I ended up getting it in a way I didn't expect. Like, I didn't even think about it. It would not have occurred to me, and that's how it works. That's what I'm saying. So I know that I mean, everything is happening to everybody more. Like, whatever they got, they're getting more. And if you didn't know stuff was going on, then what an exciting life you're having right now. All of a sudden, hearing and knowing and feeling stuff that you couldn't before, that's all like, whoa, like suddenly manifesting. I don't know if that happens and you're not, like, taking all the steps that you kind of need to take to get yourself to the place where it just happens. I don't. But anyway, if you're looking at stuff like this, like my channel, where I talk about stuff like I'm talking about, then you will know that it's like magic, and that we all have this ability to some degree to have abilities, like psychic stuff. This reminds me of both a synapse and, like, I don't know, like maybe a crude imagining of like spirit or something, like God or an angel, because what they're light beings, and they don't look like how all of the angel things that we have made. But I guess the wing thing is just how the light flares of them look to humans. Like, that's like the closest approximation. And then is the wing shape of, like, the energy flare. I already said that, but I guess our minds are like, oh, wings, and then we just go keep embellishing from there. Okay, you got it. Say goodbye to your past and leave the baggage behind for good. There is that subject coming up again of getting through some stuff, some crap, something that you are having the repetitive cycle with. And, well, when you're finally done, however you get there, I gave a couple of examples, or one, whatever I did. I gave an example. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to go through things the way that they see fit, or however it happens. Like, I can't speak for other people. But, I mean, except to say, like, you get through and past one thing, you can, in my experience, feel better and, happy to move on to something else. Like, yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say, but it felt really messed up. Like, don't say that word. You'll be lame. Okay, so yeah, and that's another piece of advice you'll get a lot from your spiritual friends, your psychic friends, and, well, really anybody that knows anything about mental health, good mental health. You want to, like, move on from stuff that's doing you no good to still be thinking about, dwelling in. You know the drill. So, say goodbye to the pathal planet and burst through the red wall with your little blue gas. Pew pew. Bye. Last card. Okay, I'm not gonna look at the time now. I can't see it anyway. You could use some self-care time, like now. Schedule it in. Well, that's not now. Now is now. Putting it on the schedule means you gotta wait till it comes up on the schedule. Ditch the schedule. It's an emergency. Stat. Maybe you need to see the picture. Interesting. I think, isn't Mercury the closest planet? Oh, that's to the sun. Wrong direction. Well, everything just kind of is bigger from there. What's closest to us? Not the moon, but what planet? I don't remember. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been a long time since I had to know that, but I'll have to look it up just because I'm curious now. Closest. Whoa, are you gonna write? Oops, it did write. Closest planet to Earth. Well, that was good. You just wrote in the middle of a blank piece of scratch paper. You just write around it. So, anyway, I feel like the little guy is the me, the us, the I in this picture, and then, well, the Earth is just the Earth. Whatever is going on where you are and everywhere else on the planet, that's what's going on here. And then you're like trying to deal with it. I mean, just think of, I mean, obviously that's not how, none of that works like in reality. But just think of it as like, this is you, and these are all of the problems that you were dragging around and cycling through over and over endlessly, and you know, it just is not helping. It's not like self-care. It's like make yourself nuts. It's not relaxing. It's not a spa day type vibe. But you know, that doesn't mean that like giving yourself self-care means you need to go take a bath or whatever. You know, like what I'm talking about is sort of that sometimes works for me. But other things get me into a really relaxed state that are active, you know, not passive meditatively. And so just whatever like gets you in the zone, you know, like could be playing pinball. You know, just it's that it just occurred to me like that's like a way that you are going to be able to clear your mind and make space. You know, like that's what I'm talking about. But you when you get your mind to that zone, wherever you get it to, whatever you do to get it there, it is a good time for like your whatever like your creative mind is trying to let go or create or make. Hold on a second. Oh, so the thing that would be sort of like the self-care and the sort of alternates, you know, like foo-foo spa situation, is like when you get to that place and you're processing out the stuff, you not only like, you know, stuff out and make room for stuff in, you have got to a place where you can have an elevated level of understanding of creation. Why is it different though? Like I already said that. I don't know, like a 2 layers, I guess. What the heck does this card say? Oh. Like the entirety of everything that is going on, let's say, to our hypothetical person that's like going through the process of finally, being able to say, I ain't carrying this baggage around anymore and let go, and finding also, okay, so yeah, you sometimes have to find that thing. Like, it's not necessarily something that someone's gonna say somewhere, except to say, like, you can do this once you find the way to get this, once you find the way to vibrate in this most beneficial way to get you where you want to be headed. I hope that makes sense. That was hard to get out. Like, okay, so yeah, but you, like, against all of, like, whatever has been going on, this might represent the actual world or your life, or the effect of the world happening on your life, or all of the above, and many other such things, and stuff that little you maybe hasn't been talking about, and it's just and also there, because that's kind of how life is. Like, you don't just get to have your deal. You have your whole deal because of all this other deals, and then the deals over here mess up your deal, and it's a whole deal, and oh my goodness. I think I'm done talking. Did you get that? No, I think it was fairly cohesive, right? I'm gonna go. Thank you and good night. Oh shoot, different phone. How do I turn this one off?